What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Peaches and Cream. It's your host, Peach. I figured why not play a game while we clock that tea today.
These brothers my guys, know that we fly, know that they ride or die. Why they wanna move like that? Where you want gone? Why you want act like that? Why you play hard? No rush, go and move dumb. Back and forth.
I want to talk about something I wouldn't even really necessarily consider it drama, but it's definitely like a red flag situation. I want to say I met this girl around the end of my ninth grade year because I went to alternative education around halfway through my ninth grade. Our alternative education wasn't necessarily like just for bad kids. Like if you needed help with school and you couldn't focus in class, like you could sign up for it and you could go. I could not be in school. I was not getting along with people. And whenever I went to alt ed, I had met this girl. I'd met multiple people, but I had met this girl in alt ed and we had hit it off first. Like I've always been a dark kind of a person and she was a dark kind of a person, and being an alt ed, you don't really get too many people that you get to really talk to. So whenever you make friends in there, like you're pretty much locked in. Her and I, we were really, really good friends. And let's just name her Tiffany. So Tiffany, we would, do our schoolwork literally right next to each other. We were really, really good friends. Anytime that she needed help with anything, I was right there. Anytime I needed help with anything, she was right there. So we were quite literally very close. With that being said, we would stay the night at each other's house. So one night I go over to her house and it was just a normal night. We were just listening to music, we were watching TV, and there was nothing really weird about that. We had done this multiple times, anytime that we would stay the night with each other, it was just, we would watch movies or, we'd listen to music or we would do shit that girls fucking do. We were just constantly with each other. Like we were inseparable. As time went on, we would drink together and whatever we could do just to have a little bit of fucking fun. At the end of my ninth grade year, she ended up moving. And after she had ended up moving, she had moved states. So there was literally no me seeing her whatsoever. The only way that we were really able to talk was through our parents because, like my grandma had her grandma's number, and that was the only way that we were really ever able to like see each other, as if they had planned something for us, which like that's nice, but I miss talking to my girl every day type of a thing. It was hard for us to communicate, and at the time I didn't really have any type of social media, nothing like that, so it really, really made shit hard. I had actually stopped going to the alt ed. I went homeschooled. It's just the epic charter schools. I wasn't really able to be around any of my friends due to me being in, homeschooling, obviously. I didn't have social media. I didn't have nothing. She was my best friend. Like that was the one person that I wanted to talk to all the time. After that, it really made it hard. And so a couple years passed by. So I wasn't even able to talk to her after she had moved, which really kind of sucked. So I had asked my grandma if I could have, her grandma's number and, possibly reach out to them and see if there was any way that I could get a hold of Tiffany. And it wasn't a problem. So I got a hold of her grandma and I'm asking, a way that I can talk to her. And her grandma's telling me, she's in trouble. She's going through some stuff right now. Like she doesn't have a phone. She's not going to talk. Like that's not possible. We're not doing that. Like, I get it because, she was in trouble at the time, and being kids, if you're in trouble, you got to listen to your parents. But so again, I wasn't able to talk to her. I wasn't able to see her. After all of that, and y'all, I really don't be playing Fortnite. I just kind of figured I would play it for an episode or something to just do something other than just talk to the camera. You know what I'm saying? A couple years later, this was whenever I had met my husband, and we were probably, I want to say it was around 6 months of our relationship, I received a message on Instagram. I didn't know who it was from. I didn't recognize the tag, the name tag or nothing like that. It was really weird. I got this message around 6 months of mine and my husband's relationship. Prior to us being married, like we were just 6 months into our relationship, like engaged at that time. It kind of ticks me off because it was a little while ago that the messages first started. And if you know anything about Instagram, you can't see the messages from an account that is deleted or whatever, and the account is like shut down. And it kind of sucks because I wish that I still had access to the messages, but due to the account being an archived account, I don't have access to the messages because the account has now been deleted that they were texting me from. I had ended up figuring out after talking to them for a little bit, they ended up telling me, that they were Tiffany. And I was like, oh my God, like this is awesome. Like, I have not seen you or talked to you in forever. Like, how have you been? Just normal casual talk. We're catching back up, whatever, whatever. And, we're talking about our interests, talking about what we still like. And, it was almost like we hadn't had a separate point. It was like we were just still living just right down the road from each other. Like we were still going to alt ed together. It was like there was no break in the friendship and she had never moved at all. And this had been going on for a couple of months and we were talking for a little while. And it was all nice. It was all dandy and I was happy to have my friend back. And then all of a sudden she started like getting a little weird with me. And by weird I mean she was telling me that we weren't the same type of a person, so she couldn't be friends with me. And I'd asked her, I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, well, we really don't like the same things and you're weird. I kind of asked her, I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, well, we don't pray to the same things and I believe in this and I believe in that. And I was like, okay, well, your beliefs don't change how I feel about, you as a friend, but if you want to let it, then cool, that's cool. If you want to act like this, then, whatever. I kind of started asking her, I was like, I was still asking her. I was like, "What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? What is it that makes me so different? Like, how are we so different now? Like, we were just hitting it off. We were just getting along fine, and all of a sudden you're switching on me. Like, what? Like, what's going on?" And she just kept saying all of this weird stuff about how she was going to pray to her own holy God and how she was going to do this and that with all of this magic and all of this stuff that she had conjured and all of these things that she did and this voodoo. And it was freaking me out. I'm not even going to lie. I can't even hold you. It was freaking me out. And then she pops off. And what gets me the most is I'm going to pray to my own holy God that you will never have kids in your life. I'm going to pray to my own holy God that any time that you want anything good in your life, it will be taken from you. I'm going to pray to my own holy God that you will never be able to receive children. And if you do, you will miscarry every one of them. And, at the time, I'm like 18 years old. I'm like in a good relationship. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is like kind of breaking my heart because this was somebody that I really seen as a good friend of mine. And I'm like, where is all of this coming from? Like, why are you treating me like this? And so I kind of just let it go. I ignored the messages and she just kept blowing me up. Like, so I blocked her. I wasn't going to listen to it anymore. But it was so strange because I felt so blindsided by somebody I had seen as my friend. It felt unneeded to me and it was unnecessary. Like, how are you going to sit there and how are you going to threaten like those types of things? Like, whenever we were supposed to be friends, how are you going to sit there and how are you going to treat me like this? I mean, I guess go off, whatever. But, anyways, y'all, I mean, that's really all that I kind of had in store for an episode today. I'm kind of just exploring and seeing what I like to do. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Peaches and Cream.